Ho, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by that girl, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back. Ooga.
Oh my god, you're such a nerd. Why am I best friends with you?
I don't know.
I really question this sometimes.
Is it time to revoke that card?
No, unfortunately, you and Steven will always be my best friends, at the end of the day. Because here's the deal, I could just say, fuck you, Patrick, and you don't get mad at me. You don't get mad, you don't pout, none of that stuff. I'll send you, I could send you a picture of me flipping you off, and we're still cool.
Works out. It's great. But hold on. Did you hear that clatter up on the roof?
Clatter on the roof? Oh my, there arose such a clatter.
Yes, welcome to the Holly Jolly Jamboree.
Yes, I got him to say it. Yes!
Not the Christmas cavalcade, as I've sort of called it in previous years.
A cavalcade just doesn't sound fun.
What is a cavalcade?
A formal procession of people walking on horseback or riding in vehicles.
Okay, so it's like a parade, kinda?
It sounds like a boring parade.
I just remember, years ago, remember on I Love Lucy when there was that, 7 episodes where they go to California and they're, driving across the country? I just remember, seeing it written as the California Cavalcade episodes before one time, and I was just like, oh, I like that word. Okay,
meanwhile, a jamboree is a large celebration or party, typically a lavish or boisterous one. That sounds more like us.
Yes. All right, we're gonna go with it. I just forget that we, Here Comes the Booze, we've solidified as,
yeah,
we trademarked it, unquote, but Holly Jolly Jamboree, I don't think we ever officially made graphics for it. I don't think you made a
No, we haven't, but I will this year. I have days off.
Okay, well, you know what? This might be the year that we get the official branding, the official graphic. It'll be out there. Maybe it's a Santa Claus hat on the AVSP TV on the logo.
I don't even know what's on there right now.
I think it's still Jason Bateman, above the TV.
It might still be.
You should put a Christmas hat on Jason Bateman. We'll just make Jason Bateman officially part of the logo now.
I mean, we got to get ready for Jason Bateman January 2.0.
Yeah, we can update it with the seasons. When it's Mardi Gras time, we'll put beads on them. When it's us, when it's St. Patrick's Day, we'll put a mug of green beer in his hand. Easter, we'll put little a basket next to him. Let's just make him part of the logo. Why not, right?
Why not?
All right, what are we doing tonight? What classic TV show are we dipping into for the first time ever as the launch of Holly Jolly Jamboree, HJJ?
This year, our first Holly Jolly Jamboree entry is the 1960s classic sitcom That Girl, starring Marlo Thomas.
Blows my mind because I thought this was a show that was on at the same time as Mary Tyler Moore, and they were contemporaries, but no, this was on 5 or 6 years before.
It ran from 66 to 71.
And MTM was around 71 or something when it started, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So they're it's we got that girl, which is the young girl in the city trying to have a career, and she's got the drippy boyfriend.
Ugh, Donald.
Yes.
Lame. He's lame. We'll get into it.
And then, we then move on to Mary Richards on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, who she's a single woman in the city working on her career, but she doesn't need to have a boyfriend.
Yeah, all right. So I was thinking about this when I was watching this and then kind of looking it up and dabbling into the Wikipedia entry for this page. So, all right. So the show launched in 1966. So we're peak family era TV. So we got My Three Sons. We got just basically anything that had a family, a nuclear family in it. I think any show that had a female lead, the Donna Reed show, she's the matriarch in the family, and then you have Bewitched. It's she's the matriarch of the family, and then You got like even like the Patty Duke show, like she's young, so she's just like the child, but she's still kind of like leading a show, but she doesn't have her own desire to do whatever the hell she wants at any given time. So I think that girl is like testing the waters, so to say, of like what they can get away with a female-led series.
Probably. I feel like it was the start of really showing a woman doing something besides just being the mom, the wife, the sister,
the daughter,
the sweet old aunt.
Like, I still feel like they had to kind of like break audiences in gently to it, so they gave her the boyfriend. They'd be like, okay, well, you know what, if like things don't work out, she can always just fall back on the boyfriend.
Yeah, that was always kind of like, I never watched like That Girl that often. I don't feel like it was on Nick at Night very long. I know it was on Nick at Night.
It definitely was. Like, they definitely had like marathon nights, like the little block party nights or whatever.
Yeah, but it was never one that I like rushed to watch, you know? Like, if there was nothing else on, I would go for That Girl.
Because is there, like, a definitive episode? Because I know, like, Mary Tyler Moore has, like, numerous, like...
I have no idea.
You think of, like, Mary Tyler Moore, you think of, like, Chuckles, Bites the Dust.
Like, there's not... Like, if there is, I don't know about it. Because I am not, like, an aficionado of That Girl. So please, you can leave your essays in the comments on the YouTube page.
Please do.
We will read them. Patrick will reply because he will see them before I see them.
So, like, we've had, like, an uptick in, like, YouTube activity lately, so shout out to you guys for finding us on there. So, all right, so what I was going to say a moment ago, though, was, so I didn't know this, but the episode that we're doing today, The Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid, this episode was, I don't know if it was, like, fully written by James L. Brooks, but he's at least one of the staff writers on this episode, and he also went on to Mary Tyler Moore and like a million other shows, and he even wrote an episode called Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid 2, which was a Mary Tyler Moore episode.
Yes, I actually already watched that one.
I didn't watch it, so like what's the and I'm not familiar with it, so like what's the premise?
Okay.
And does it relate to this one?
That's why I kind of like watched it after this. In that one, Mary finds out that she has to work on Christmas Day. She just kind of like assumed she was going to have it off, but she works in like a newsroom. The news doesn't stop just because it's Christmas. And so she has to be the one to work Christmas Day. And originally she has Christmas Eve, like the evening off, but like this guy tricks her into taking the shift. So she'll get New Year's Eve off.
I'm going to throw this out there. Hold on. As someone who like works for a company, aka a hospital that never closes, 100 out of 100 times, I would rather have New Year's Eve off than like any of the Christmas Eves or days. As
somebody who works in a call center, I worked last New Year's Eve, and I'm going to tell you something. I was doing a grocery project, so it's like I call and like, hi, my name is Catherine. I'm calling from ABC Groceries, and we'd just like to ask you a few questions about your shopping history and interests, yada yada, something stupid like that. And it was 5 o'clock Mountain Time, so 6 o'clock Central, where I was calling, and they're like, it is New Year's Eve, it is too late to be calling me. And I just tried really hard not to laugh, because I'm like, it's too late to call at 6 o'clock on New Year's Eve?
Well, you know what? She's probably getting ready for her big gala that night. Maybe she's having a big gala.
She's like, it is family time. And I'm like, I am so sorry to have bothered you. You have a wonderful New Year. General callback.
No shout out to that person for answering the phone, because it was obviously like a number she didn't know. So
like that to me is something that just drives me crazy. If you don't want to talk to somebody you don't know, why are you answering your phone? You know?
Because that is it's such an old-timey thing. Like nobody, you know what, I see a number I don't know, I'm like, you know what, nope, not today, Satan, not today.
I'll listen to the voicemail.
You know what, even like someone that I know calls me and I don't even want to answer the phone.
Right? I think if I called you, you'd probably be like, oh dear God, she's dead, or this is her murderer.
With the ransom, like jigsaw scream voice.
Like, you're not gonna pay.
Do you take Venmo?
I'm sorry, that just reminded me of that bad date that Steven had to call and get me out of.
Yeah, I think we need to provide some context for the listeners, or just a quick context, because this is a good story. This is a great story.
Okay, this is a great story. I'm gonna tell it. I'm just gonna preface this and say to anybody that I may or may not be dating, who may or may not listen to this, I would only do this if I really had to get out of the date and you weren't getting the hint. Okay? So it was like the first date I went out on after my ex. It's the first one. I don't even know where I should go. I ask my boss for a bar recommendation so me and this guy can meet up for a drink. So I drive like the 30 freaking minutes to the bar because it's on the absolute other side of town.
Oh, the bad side of town?
And just the old part of town.
It's like the old West out there. It's got the saloon doors, like the little double doors that like go both ways.
Yeah, pretty much. So I get there and Hocus Pocus is playing on the TV. So I'm like, okay, that's not a totally bad sign. But like the songs that were playing on the radio before were like not great. It was like Justin Timberlake breaking up with Britney Spears kind of songs. Reba McEntire setting her ex's like house on fire or something. That kind of stuff. Just bad omen music. I get there. He shows up like 30 seconds after me. Okay. We sit down. We start chatting. And I barely say a word. Because he does not stop talking. Like, he just keeps talking and talking. Like, I order a drink, which is delicious. I am still, to this day, sad I never finished it.
What was the drink?
It was called a maple leaf, and it had, like, I don't even remember what was in it, but it had, like, lemon and maple and cinnamon flavors. It was, like, so good. And it actually, like, got served with a maple leaf on it.
You didn't like hide it in your purse on the way out?
You can't take a drink out.
You can definitely hide them though and like, put it under your shirt or something and like walk out with it and then like drink it in the parking lot nonchalantly.
Oh my god. Well, okay, for like 30, 45 minutes, I have barely said a word on this date except to like order my drink. So then I finally get to talk and I don't even get to like finish my story because he cuts me off to tell like another story. And in these moments, he reveals that all his stories are about drinking and getting drunk. Huge red flag from me, right? And then he reveals he lives with his mother.
Oh, God. Is this Seymour Skinner from The Simpsons?
Oh, my God. Seymour's more stable than this dude. And then, like, I'm like, okay. So we're sitting there, and it's that point, it's like, do we end the date, or do we order food? And he goes, so, do you want to get a hotel room and have sex? And I'm, like, staring at my drink. And I just start, like, swirling it. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. This is the first date I've been on since my ex.
If you waited another 3 hours to ask that question, maybe, but...
Still probably not. I don't think there's enough alcohol in the world to have gotten me to sleep with this dude.
Alright, so then you had, like, your escape plan?
Yeah, so, like, he went to the bathroom, and I text you and Steven, and I'm like, I need one of you guys to call me in the next 5 minutes with some ridiculous reason to get me the hell out of here.
And I was at work, so I didn't see it immediately.
Yeah, but thank God for Steven.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there. I have now put my phone on the table. My phone has been sitting in my purse most of the night. So that alone should be, like...
a hint?
Obvious something's up, right? So I could tell you that the couple at the table next to us knew exactly what I was doing. The young woman who just came in while he was in the bathroom knew what I was doing, but did he figure it out? So Steven calls, and he's like, hey, my car is on fire. I'm on the highway. I need you to come get me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Did you speakerphone it? Or was this,
No, but, like, I just reacted to everything he was telling me. And it's like, oh my God. I'm like, and there were, like, these little moments. I'm like, wait, I'm the third person you called.
Trying to make it believable.
Yeah, it was very, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come get you. I'm getting up. And the guy, like, stops me. And he's like, are you gonna pay for your drink? My friend's car is on fire. Can I, like, Venmo or Cash App you the money? Like, and that. I, like, got a glance at the girl at the table, and she's just like, he did not just ask this. Like, your friend's car is on fire, and he's like...
oh, I love it.
He wants you to pay for the drink. So I, like, go outside, and I'm, like, walking, and I pull out the phone, I call Steven again, I'm like, thank you so much. And I, like, glance back, and I'm walking pretty quickly to the car. Because I want to get the F out of there. This dude comes out of the bar and he's watching me walk down the street. So, like, Steven and I are continuing the ruse of his car being on fire. I'm like, okay, so send me exactly your location so that I can come get you. Just, like, stay off to the side where it's safe. Yada, yada, So, yeah, like, I get down, like, he's finally, like, not watching me. And I get in my car and I, like, turn it on and I get the fuck out of there. And I'm still talking to Steven for, like, another 5 minutes. Like, until I pull into a gas station and try to figure out where actually I am and how the hell to get home. Because I was like, what if this dude followed me?
You know what? If the girl at the table next to Cat Hall said the author at, what was the name of the restaurant that you're at?
I don't even remember what it was.
Well, if you're somewhere in Colorado Springs or like around Halloween time and Hocus Pocus was playing on the television set, if you just happen to be listening to this, send us a hot message. We want to like hear your angle of the story.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's that story.
Our new friend of the show, that girl. Yes, that girl. And great segue. So this episode, this is a season 1 episode, right? Like we're in the early years of the show.
I think so. I, in all honesty, do not know. I just like looked up where I could watch the episode. I found it was free on YouTube, like legally free. So I was like, hell yeah, that's where I'm watching it.
Season 1, episode 16. It aired. It's called Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid. It aired on December 22nd, 1966. So we're like 3 days away from the big day.
Okay.
New television is on. New television galore. And are you ready for this hot night of television?
Give it to me. I want to know what was on this night.
We're going to start with our boys at the alphabet, ABC. It's hold on. Actually, we start at 7:30. We start at 7:30 because tonight...
7:30? Ooh.
We're going before prime time.
Wow, okay.
Because they used to have stuff on before 8 o'clock. Well, they still kind of do sometimes. Any guesses? This is a show we've done before. We talk about it numerous times in the podcast. I think very recently you said one of the characters in it is one of your favorite characters of all time. You're really not giving a hint, but...
I'm like, that does not help me. That does not help me at all, Patrick.
When you think of the name Cesar Romero, who do you think of?
Oh, Batman.
Yes, tonight, Batman on at 7:30. Who knew this was like a 7:30 show?
Okay.
I guess the kids liked it, though.
Yeah, probably. You know, they're sitting there drinking their hot Dr. Pepper with lemon, watching Batman.
This is like early-ish. This might be like season 2 Batman. So this is when they still had like 2 nights a week. So I think it was Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Which tracks, I guess. But then, you ready for 8 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is a show I am aware of. It's more of in the I am aware of your work category. I definitely have seen it on maybe Nick at Night or TV Land or I don't know, something.
Okay.
But it never caught my interest. I've never seen an episode of it. F Troop.
Hold up. You have never seen an episode of F Troop?
No. Well, I mean, I might have seen the opening credits, and it's western-y.
Oh my God.
That just immediately shut me off.
I loved F Troop when I was a kid.
Really?
Yes. It's got that kind of wacky workplace type thing going on.
All right, so it takes place in Civil War times, maybe, or somewhere thereof.
In after the Civil War, I believe.
Reconstruction era.
Yeah, but in the West where
they were still building.
Manifest Destiny is more kind of
But it's like a sitcom, though, right? It's wacky and quirky.
Yeah, it's a sitcom. It's full on sitcom. You get the bumbling commander of the fort. You get the 2 guys who are scamming and trying to make money, and they're always off with the Native American tribe trading stuff and trying to scam the guys on the base.
You know what? Maybe 7-year-old me did not dig F Troop, but I'm kind of slightly intrigued by your description of it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do it for the show in a future episode.
Yeah, we will find an episode. Oh my God, I can't believe you've never watched F Troop.
Maybe we'll find a Christmas one. Who knows?
Oh my God, I love F Troop. I don't know if me at this age now will love F Troop, but we'll see.
I'm gonna throw some things out there. So, I really liked, Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, see, I never enjoyed that one.
Is it Hogan's Heroes, but, 1800s?
There are similar aspects, I think.
You want to go to 8:30? Want to know what's on at 8:30?
Yeah, what's on at 8:30?
All right, it's a game show. The Dating Game, which I didn't know was on in 1966.
Ooh.
I thought that was more like a 70s thing.
This is before they ever had a serial killer as a contestant.
Yeah, that was, 71 or something? 72, maybe?
Something like that.
And 9 o'clock. This is a show we've done before. I've actually mentioned it in the last half hour. Bewitched.
Okay.
9:30, we get the show that we're doing tonight. That Girl.
You know, Anne Marie is just a little scandalous. Gotta have her on later at night, you know?
Yeah, you don't want those young teenage girls being like, I want to move to New York City.
to New York and be an actress like Anne Marie and get a trippy boyfriend like Donald.
I want to be the star of the Star-Spangled Girl. There's like a marquee in the theme song of like all the Broadway plays, and one of them it was like Anthony Perkins in the Star-Spangled Girl. And I was like, I wonder what that's about. I'm wildly intrigued about the show on at 10 o'clock. I've never heard of it, but it stars an actor we know very well, Burt Reynolds. Any guesses?
No idea.
It's a police drama called Hawk.
It's called what?
Hawk.
Hawk.
Hawk with an H, like Hawkeye, but without the I.
Oh, Hawk.
Hawk. You're like, Hawk? I bet it's boring. I bet like by today's standards, it's like really like murder by numbers type.
Yeah, it's like, okay. We're
gonna head over to CBS. I only have data for the 8:30 slot. It's My Three Sons, which we've never done, I don't think, right? We have not
done My Three Sons. I don't know if we can find episodes unless we watch like My TV early in the morning.
I feel like they're on YouTube. I feel like you can find like a hot episode or two on YouTube.
Probably. Who knows?
Who
knows? I was surprised we could find that girl. So
shout out to Raven TV account for having like a weird like Christmas playlist of weird like 60s TV shows, and I think even some 70s stuff.
You know I dig that stuff.
You do. NBC's kind of boring. It's kind of like westerns all night, and this just not interested. From 8 to 8:30 is Daniel Boone.
Ugh, boring.
The only other data I have is for a 9:30 slot is a series called The which starred Richard Mulligan, and it was a western, but like a sitcom.
A Richard Mulligan, like as in Bert and Dr. Harry Weston?
Like a young Richard Mulligan. In a live action comedy western. I'm guessing this is probably maybe like a response.
Our favorite villain from Babes in Toyland.
In a western, a comedy western called The Hero.
Okay, so you know how you said like you couldn't watch F Troop because it was too westerny?
Yes.
Yeah, like okay, so like you know how like Me TV and Antenna TV, like there's that chunk in the afternoon. It's just westerns for like hours. And I'm like, these are so boring.
It's like Gunsmoke, Bonanza.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, these are so boring. Like, I don't even really watch Western movies. I think there's two I watch. Like, you can get me to sit down and watch. Support Your Local Sheriff, starring James Gardner. Cat Ballou, starring Jane Fonda.
Well, what is Maverick? Is that a comedy or
I totally watched the one with Mel Gibson, but like...
It was a comedy though, right? Like, it was supposed to be like funny.
Honestly... I remember trying to watch a few episodes on like Nick at Night when it was like in that whole like excuse me, they're doing the movie, so let's air the old episodes, and I don't remember it being very funny.
Okay. I felt like the movie was like
the movie is definitely a comedy.
Yeah, it's like quirky.
Yeah.
I could never get in, like I just didn't like sand, I guess. I don't know, but like there's just something about a western that bothers me. Even like the third Back to the Future movie, like I can't watch it all the way through because it's a fucking western.
Okay, that's like the third western I can watch. I love Back to the Future though. I love it. I gotta try and get the nephews into them.
I love Back to the Future 1, I love Back to the Future 2, but 3 just kind of like loses my interest. I don't know, like just bad way to end the trilogy. Bad way. I mean, they did get Mary Steenburgen involved, so shout out to that, but I don't know.
I just love all the Back to the Future movies.
I even hate when, like...
I love the 3 Ghostbuster movies that are in the same universe.
I just hate when, like... I'm just trying to think of, like... Every now and then, like, a TV show, like, The Legends of Tomorrow will do, like, a Western episode, and I'm like, oh, fuck, like, why? Like, why do we have to do this?
No, I get it. I get it, because, like...
It's always the same story.
Yeah, okay, so, like... You know, there's that show on Hallmark that I'm, like, obsessed with, that Heather and I will start, like, randomly talking about, and you're just... I can tell, like, I know you're just reading these, like, direct messages, like, what the F is wrong with these two women?
Is it called When Calls the Heart?
Yes. And we'll be, like, talking about it, and it takes place in the Western Canadian Rockies.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, like, I get it, like...
It's just, like, a very uninteresting atmosphere to me. Like, even, like, I remember back in the day, it was, like... Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I was intrigued by the idea, but then I would like watch an episode. I'm like, oh, I can't fucking sit through this. And like, Little House on the Prairie. I'm like, I can't fucking sit through this. Just none of it. I don't know. Like westerns just elude me. And correct me if I'm wrong. Like, tell me there's like a fun one. Like maybe F Troop. Maybe I'll revisit it. I'll go in.
I just feel like I don't think of F Troop is like a Western. It's not a Western in the same way like all that other stuff is.
The TV Tango app has it as a military/war/comedy. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the time, because there's like a character called Wrangler Jane.
That's like the love interest.
It's just like a Western name, Western-y name to me. I don't know, like even like you go to like Disneyland and it's like they have like the Western show and I'm like, I can't sit through this.
I had to sit through all that stuff as a child because my brother loved it.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a John Wayne movie. I don't think I've ever seen, like I've seen Clint Eastwood movies, but they're all like the modern ones, like Dirty Harry and stuff. Like it's...
Yeah, you know what Clint Eastwood movies I've watched? I actually can't even think of one besides Jersey Boys, which he directed.
You know what?
Oh, I know what. I hate myself that it took me this long to realize what Clint Eastwood movie I've seen. Bridges of Madison County.
And I've never even seen that. I've seen In the Line of Fire, which is like that Tom Clancy, like Jack Ryan-esque type movie. Honestly, I think that's like the only Clint Eastwood movie I've ever seen. I might have seen like I lied. I've seen like some of the Dirty Harry movies. So honestly, sometimes I kind of confuse Clint Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones because they kind of like look the same to me.
Is it wrong? I kind of totally get that.
Because I was going to be like, hey, didn't Clint Eastwood play Two-Face in Batman Forever? But no, wrong guy. All right, I'm going to ask the age-old question on a scale of 1 out of 5 Westerns. How many Westerns would you give this night of television? Are we going to get a Cat 5? Or you get like a 2? Because I'm going to give it like a 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, there's not... I mean, I know it's a few days before Christmas. I know we're lacking information. I'm sure there was something else on, right?
The data I have has gaps, so like it's probably just like lost to the ages. We don't know what's on this night.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't sound like a night that I am racing to watch TV. I would probably be like totally fine chilling with like a copy of like Peyton Place to Read or something instead.
Are you gonna go to the you gonna go up to like the hill, like the little hill that overlooks the city in your Mustang with James Dean and Neck? Maybe like run away from the Blob or something.
I just learned something and I have to share this with you.
All right, let's hear it.
Clint Eastwood was in the movie Casper.
Was he a voice of one of the ghosts or something?
He's uncredited, but it's on his IMDb page.
So do we know who he plays?
No, it doesn't say who.
Is he like a super fan, like a Casper super fan, and they're like, we got a part for you?
I don't know. Now I have so many questions. Because it's like, I'm just scrolling through his acting credits, and it's like all these like badass titles, and then it's like, even like the so it's like the 3 before it are Unforgiven, In the Line of Fire, A Perfect World, then Casper, then followed by The Bridges of Madison County, Absolute Power, True Crime, Space Cowboys.
What is A Perfect World? I feel like I've seen that movie before.
Kevin Costner.
Is this like a crime caper type movie where like Kevin Costner like kidnaps a boy?
A kidnapped boy strikes up a friendship with his captor, an escaped convict on the run from the law while the search for him continues.
I have totally seen that movie, and it's actually like I remember enjoying it at the time it came out. I don't know if it holds up today. Clint Eastwood's the the Texas Ranger or something, right? Like the guy like the
Yeah, I think so.
He's got like the big like brim like Stetson on and like
yes
the sunglasses. I think it takes place in like the 60s or something because I remember seeing like an old car, and I think Laura Dern's in the movie too if I remember correctly. It's a good movie. I'll give it like a 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5. Who cares about Clint Eastwood? Who cares about Kevin Costner? We're moving on.
We are here to talk about That Girl,
Marlo Thomas. So I think you should give us like the quick lowdown of That Girl.
That Girl is about Anne Marie, who is a young woman who is trying to have an acting career in New York City in the 60s, and she has a boyfriend who works for like a magazine or something named Donald.
Yeah, he's boring as fuck.
Maybe he's not. Maybe there's something we just didn't see in this episode because he's not really in this episode.
Judging from this one episode and then like various memories I have of this show, you have That Girl, Anne Marie, that's her name, right? Played by Marlo Thomas.
Yeah.
She grows up in like kind of like a like very rural I wouldn't even say suburban, but like backwoods, upstate New York-ish kind of area. I think is like where she hails from originally.
Yeah, something like that.
Like a small town, like we're way before the urban sprawl years. I don't know, like maybe she went to like a Tennessee Williams play in like the 50s. She just had these like dreams and aspirations of like moving to the big city. But I guess she kind of like stuck around her town for a little bit, worked as a, actually, I don't even know if like it was her town. Like, where is the school?
She was a teacher. It's not in like the town she grew up in. It's definitely like she was hired as a teacher at like this boys' boarding school.
At first, I thought it was New York City, but I think they do like a sort of like an outside shot for a second, and it didn't really look city-like, so I don't really know where it is.
No, I think it's like in Connecticut or something. Or New Hampshire, like one of those New England-y states where the rich people are going to send their little boys to, so.
It's definitely like driving distance to wherever her parents live.
Yeah.
Like a 2-hour drive, maybe.
Or at the very least, it's a short train ride.
She did that for a few years. She like kind of earned up some like money to pay for her like city apartment. And so 1963 is the year she leaves the school and she goes to New York City and has big dreams and aspirations.
Yeah, she like leaves at the semester, like after Christmas, she's out.
And she goes to New York City, and then like the whole premise of the show is like she's like trying to be an actress, but she just works these like odd jobs.
Yeah, these little odd jobs that, you know, are just like, it's different every week. It's just like job of the week.
Yeah, so this week, in this particular episode, she plays Santa's helper at like, I don't know, Macy's or something, or just some like department store. Probably Macy's, because...
Yeah, like a Gimbals or something like.
Yeah, wherever Marvelous Mrs. Maisel worked.
A&S or whatever, like, existed in 1966.
I get the impression that we're, like, very early in the relationship with Donald here.
I would say Donald is totally that guy you go out with, like, for 2 or 3 dates, and then you just kind of, like, you move on to the next guy.
I think we might have said this earlier, but I got the impression that we'll let Marlo Thomas be this single girl in New York City, but we can't have her running around all by herself or with her gal pals. No, we can't have that. We gotta have, like, a shoulder she can lean on. We gotta have, like, somewhere where she can go to at the end of the day. Preferably a dude, a big burly-looking dude who wears a suit. Pretty much like a sustainable job, like a magazine, I guess, in the 60s is probably...
Yeah, he works at a magazine called... Newsview magazine.
So was this like a Newsweek or something?
I'm guessing, like, Patrick, I am making assumptions based on a title of a fictional magazine of a show I have maybe seen like 5 times, and of those 5 times, 3 of them have probably been this episode.
So you've seen this episode like prior to?
Like I've definitely, I think I have it on one of those like DVDs of like random Christmas episodes.
Oh, like treasured Christmas moments from the 60s or something.
Yeah, or something like that kind of thing.
There's probably like a I Love Lucy episode on like right after it, and like maybe an Ozzie and Harriet.
And then like some random episode from Ellen's second TV show that nobody remembers.
Oh yeah, then like maybe the Waltons. It's safe to say that network executives felt like it was a safe bet having Donald as a character on the show. Like, all right, we'll let this happen. We'll let her have her feminist adventures. We'll let her like do her own thing, but there's always going to be like the idea, there's going to be like there's a mist in the air that says that, you know, if things don't work out, you know, maybe she doesn't get the lead in Annette at the Iguana things don't pan out, then, you know, she can always go back to Donald's penthouse that overlooks the city on the like 47th floor.
The final episode was originally supposed to be Anne and Donald getting married, and Marlo Thomas vetoed it. She refused, and I'm like, yes, you go, Marlo. You go, girl, you go.
Because she said it kind of like cheapened the whole idea of the series, was that, you know what, like, because she liked the idea of a girl just leaving her home, the comfort of her hometown, where she probably would have just stayed the teacher. She would have been the teacher there. She probably would have met like a random dude in town, like maybe like the insurance salesman or something that wears a suit every day. And she'd stay there and have like 87 kids, drive a fucking Studebaker, whatever I don't know what the fuck they drove back then.
I think Studebakers. Didn't we go over that in like an episode of Mr. Ed or something?
Yeah, the Studebaker. Shout out to the Studebaker. Car of the 60s. And she's like, you know what? I want like the opposite of that. I want like, I quit my job on a whim. I moved to fucking Fifth Avenue or something. I get like a little like like I don't think, does she have like roommates, or does she just like live in like a studio or something?
I don't know, but her apartment's on like the west side.
Or I just picture her living in like one of those buildings that like Peggy Carter from Agent Carter lived in, with like the girls building.
I think we see Donald in her apartment, so it wasn't that strict if that was the case.
Maybe it was like a more forward-thinking one. I don't know. Or like maybe he snuck in.
Well, I mean, even in Bosom Buddies, it was so strict that the guys had to like meet them in the lobby when they weren't dressed in drag.
All right, so like maybe she just like lived in like a studio then, like by her, like on her own.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to get into like the actual episode? I feel like we've kind of...
Yeah, let's get into the actual episode. So this is actually really kind of awkward. Like when I was watching it, I was like, this would not work today at all. Like, at all.
No, there's so much going on in this episode.
Donald, this single man, is in line to see Santa. There's this woman behind him who apparently doesn't have a kid with her either. Already, I'm kind of sketched out because he keeps, like, touching the kid in front of him.
Like, rubbing his hair.
And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What the F are you doing, Donald, you creeper?
You know what? This is why I got the impression that he was like fresh into this relationship with Anne Marie, because he seemed like kind of nervous, and it was kind of like the kid's like bowl cut was his stress ball. And then there's just like random, I want to say older woman, probably like a woman like in her early 40s.
It's like our age.
With like platinum blonde hair, wearing like an expensive fur coat. He like chats it up with her. They're both here to see the same girl.
We get that girl.
All right, which is a gimmick that they do, I guess, in every episode of the show. Like it pops up.
Yeah, it's a running gag in every episode. They were originally just going to do it in the first episode, but then they were like, let's see if we can keep going.
And they managed to do it for like all 5 seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. All right, so we come back from the opening theme song, which is very like eerily similar to the Mary Tyler Moore opening.
Yeah.
It's just like Marlo Thomas walking around New York City, like she's in Times Square, she's in Broadway, she's on the subway, she's like, I don't know, Madison Square Garden, just like random like backdrops. And we come back from that, and I guess she's like on a break from her rendezvous with Santa.
Yeah, she's on her like lunch break or something, I guess, at this point, because Donald has come to take her to lunch.
And I'm guessing they just got back from Eton, and maybe they have a few extra minutes.
Or something, like there's something, because she's got the present that the woman dropped off for her.
Yes.
And Donald's all like, who, how, what, like, he is 100% uncomfortable with this whole thing. That this woman is giving Anne a present, and he doesn't understand why. And she's like, oh, well, I'm friends with her son. And he's all, like, raging with jealousy, like, boiling under the surface. Like, is this an ex-boyfriend? Like, is this a guy that thinks he has a chance? Like, he's, like, freaking out. And she's like, oh, yeah, I spent Christmas with her son a few years ago. And, like, it just keeps bubbling. He's so like nervous there's another guy. Guess what, dude? There should be another guy, 'cause you're late.
She's like, oh, no, like, it's not what you think, Donald, you wet blanket. I used to be a teacher in, like, I don't know, the Christmas in Connecticut town, like, 3 years ago. And I worked at this, like, boarding school for, like, rich kids.
I was, like, their drama teacher. Made them do a Christmas play.
You get the fancy, like, fade out, and it's, like, we see, like, the outside of it, like, I don't know, it looks like the school from, like, X-Men, like, the Professor X's mansion. It's, like, got the snowy field, and this is why, like, I got the impression that it, like, wasn't in the city, because, like, there's no, like, lights. It's just, like, a long meadow field.
Oh, yeah, like, this is definitely, like, in a small town. It's probably, like, just down the street from the school from, the Robin Williams movie.
Dead Poet Society?
Yes, thank you. I'm, like, sitting here like, it's one of my favorite fucking movies, and I'm blanking on the title.
Maybe, like, on the same campus, they have, like, an elementary school, and it's, like, that.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing, like.
And she's, like, she's the drama teacher, and I guess she was, like, in charge of the Christmas pageant this year, and it's, like, December 23rd or something. It's, like, very close to Christmas.
Yeah, it's, like, right before Christmas. It's that point where the kids
like the parents are going to come watch the pageant,
Yeah.
and then take their kids home, like that kind of thing.
And then it's kind of like Christmas break. They get probably like a month off or something. I feel like it's like a long time.
Probably something ridiculous like that. I mean, that's practically what my nephew gets. Oh my god.
And we come out of the play and we see Anne Marie, and she's like followed by this little kid dressed up like a Christmas tree. This little like blonde haired kid, 5 years old, would you say? Maybe 6?
No, he's like 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know how to fucking age kids.
He's an adorable little kid. He is the same child who does the voice of Linus for the Peanuts at this time.
Oh yeah, the OG Linus, yeah.
And he is also he also played one of the kids in the Lucy version of Yours, Mine, and Ours.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Little Philip North Beasley. That's totally where I recognized him from. I love that movie.
So it's like the end of the play, and I guess this kid's kind of like sort of a loner. He's like kind of like a, I don't know, like a Debbie Downer type.
No, I wouldn't say he's a loner. I think like when they're in school he has friends, but all of his friends are going home for Christmas. And his parents are both like famous actors, and they're not coming to get him for Christmas because they're off shooting a movie somewhere.
All right, hold on. This is where I'm going to kind of go off into a wild theory that I had. So,
okay.
This episode starts off in 1966. It flashes back to 1963. So it's only been like 3 years. And when we first we do see the mother.
Yeah.
She's not a spring chicken. She's a little bit of an older woman. She's probably like in her early 40s. Would you say like 41, 42, 43-ish?
I would put her a little older than us.
So I was thinking about this. I was like, all right, she's probably one of those like in the 30s. She was that young spring chicken, like one of those like studio system actresses, kind of like a Bette Davis, Joan Crawford type that was like just used like ad nauseum in like everything. 6 movies a year. The lead-in lady, or just the lead, just a big ass name. And then things started to like maybe like slow down a little bit in like the late 40s, early 50s. The roles weren't coming in as quickly as they used to.
Better marry that soda, Fortune.
Yeah, and so she kind of like got hitched up with some dude. What was the kid's name in the...
Oh crap, what was the kid's name? Henry. We're just gonna call him Philip. That I don't think that's actually his name. I think it might be Henry, but we're gonna call him Philip. Philip.
All right, yeah, had young Philip. All right, so like 1955, 54, 56-ish, little Philip was born, and she kind of had like a little, I'm going to say probably like an absenteeism for movies. There was probably like a 3-4 year block where she's like not in anything because she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. She's obviously not going to go on screen. Then she was like the new mom. This is probably like her first kid. And all right, like, so she still got like a little bit of like the baby weight, so she's like working it off and stuff like that. So she's like out of film for a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to say little Philip's like 4 years old. We're probably now like 58, 59. We're kind of maybe even 60. We're kind of getting into that era where like the studio system's starting to go away. Now we're kind of getting these little more braver new roles for all of our old like favorite stars from yesteryear. Like they're playing like the older woman now, like they're playing like the mom to like a teenager in these movies, kind of like the Mildred Pierce type movies, Baby Jane type roles. I don't know, like things are starting to like cook for her now, and she's just like, shit, like I can't just turn down work. Like she probably just got cast in like, all right, so 1963, there's probably some like hag horror movie about like a I don't know, like a space alien or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably like a movie that Joan Crawford turned down. Like it's a role that like she turned down, and they were like, "We want you in it, Philip's mom, whatever her name is." And then like, I don't know how her husband's involved in this, but I guess like he got cast in the movie too.
Okay, this is I get your vision. I think they're like one of those like couples that people love to watch together in a movie. They do a lot of movies together, you know, maybe they have like one of those little like movie series that were popular back in the day with like, you know, you get a new movie every few months of like this group of characters, like the Blondie movies and Dagwood stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
All right, yeah, because...
So maybe they play like a couple or the parents in something like that. And so they're working a lot But they base themselves in New York, but they work in California. So the kid goes to boarding school.
Isn't it just really weird, though, that, like, they didn't have, like, a nanny or something that would just, like, take care of the kid? Or, like, even, like, they could fly the kid out to California wherever they're filming, and, like, the nanny could watch the kid for, like, 2 days or something.
Right? Like, they're just like, we're not even gonna, like, deal with that. We're just gonna leave him at the school with, like, the groundskeeper.
Who is, like, very, like, Freddy Krueger-y looking to me for some reason.
Oh my god. He was not somebody I would want to leave my child with. And he sure as heck got the hell out of town as soon as he realized there was somebody else around.
Anne-Marie does, like, she is starting to, like, feel bad for this kid. So she's like, well, why don't you come home with me to, like, my little, like, rural New York town? My parents would love to have you. Little Philip's like, yeah, let's do it. But I guess there's, like, a weird insurance policy out on this kid for some reason. Like, if he's not with his parents, he's only allowed to stay within, like, a 10-mile radius of the school, which is super fucking weird. Like, it didn't make any sense to me.
Like, that made no... Like, I think it's not, like, the parents have the policy. Like, I think it's, like, the school can't, like, ensure, like, if something were to happen to him off school property, even though he's, like, technically with a school faculty member, they're like, if something happens, they're so screwed.
Something must have happened, like, to trigger that. Like, I bet you, like, all right, so this is obviously, like, a boarding school for, like, rich kids. So there's probably, like, a lot of rich kids that go here. And I bet you, like, one of the kids got, like, snatched up or something. Like a Lindbergh baby type situation.
Like, they probably went on a ski trip, like, 11 miles away.
Yeah, it was, like, 11 miles away. It was, like, Paul Newman's son got, like, snatched up. And there was this, like, huge scandal. They were, like, looking for Paul Newman's son for, like, months. Maybe there was, like, the giant ransom.
I feel like that is not the right name to pick.
I don't know. I couldn't think of a name, so I just said Paul Newman. Does he not have kids?
I mean, I just don't think that was the name for 1963.
Who would you throw out? Well, actually, we're probably, like, before that, because this is, like...
Okay, so let's say it was probably, like, one of Joan Crawford's kids.
Yeah. Well, she has, she has, like, one legitimate kid and then, like, 5 that are adopted, I think. Isn't that the...
Adopted, yeah.
Yes, quote unquote. All right, yeah, it probably was one of her kids. And the reason why we don't know about it is because she never told anybody.
Because if anybody was keeping secrets, it was definitely Joan Crawford.
Yeah, you know what? It was like she like paid off Hedda Hopper to not release the story to the public. You know what? Like she was gonna release it. It was gonna be in like the spring of '58 issue of Hedda Hopper's digest or whatever the fuck she had. But
whatever was her article, her column, or whatever.
Yeah. Joan then like cashed in one of her fucking Pepsi Cola chips. It was like, here you go, Hedda. Like I'll give you a share of the market if you don't publish a story. You know what? It probably was Betty Davis that took the kid, too. Let's be real.
Probably. We are terrible, awful people.
All right. So anyway, like she wants to take this kid home, but the school's like, no, like the kid is only allowed to stay within like a 10-mile radius. So like meanwhile, like the kid's like packed. Philip's like packed and ready to go.
He's so excited because he's going to get to like have an actual Christmas somewhere away from this boarding school. Because think about it. Pretty much every Christmas this kid probably remembers is in this boarding school.
I was going to say, didn't it the same thing happen like the year before they casually mentioned?
Yeah, like the year before and maybe the year before that.
It's like basically like his entire like memory of Christmas is just like sitting in this like very like empty, almost like a fucking prison cell looking type room. Like there's no...
Yeah, and they don't have like any food. They know this kid is here and they don't leave like any food besides bread and jelly.
Yeah, like no peanut butter, no fucking like potato chips.
Listen, they were being preemptive about those damn peanut allergies.
It may be. This is like the origin story of peanut allergies.
We're so gonna get hate for that again.
Anne-Marie's like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I've had like 23 great Christmases at home. I could probably sacrifice one. I'll stay on campus with young Philip. Philip's like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Like he's either going to be like lonely with the janitor or lonely with fucking Anne-Marie. So he's like, you know what? I actually like Anne-Marie. So I guess it's better off just being stuck with her. So he's okay with it.
She's probably a little more fun than the groundskeeper.
There's like nothing to do.
Yeah, there's no TV. They got the radio. They do have access to the gym, which has this weird treadmill type thing with like the made out of wood where it rolls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the old-timey treadmill.
Oh my god, that was amazing. I was like, I want to go build one.
They have like a real shitty-looking Christmas tree, too.
I mean, it was a tall tree.
Honestly, it looks like a coat rack to me.
But it was probably something the groundskeeper just found in the back and like chopped down or dug up.
I don't know. I kind of thought it was just like a fucking coat rack where they just kind of like tied some branches from like outside to it.
No, I think it was a real tree, but like they let the kids decorate it and it wasn't really taken care of.
Well, this is like, they probably didn't water it.
Yeah.
It just kind of like died. It's probably been out since like December 4th.
Yeah, probably. Like the kids probably came back from their Thanksgiving break, which let's bet that poor little Philip had spent that there as well.
Yeah, that was probably right when his parents got cast in this role, so they were like flying out to do test shoots.
Sorry, no dressing, no turkey for you. You're gonna have jelly sandwiches for Thanksgiving.
Normally, this kid stays with a janitor who like is wearing like a creepy like Freddy Krueger sweater.
He even tells Anne Marie to check the furnace.
Yeah. All right. So the janitor finds out that Anne Marie's sticking around. So he's like, "All right, fuck it, I'm going out of town then." He's like, "This is like my only time to shine. The only time I can get out of Dodge."
He's like, "I'm going to Vegas."
Yeah. He like shows up. And Anne Marie's like, "Oh, you here for Christmas dinner?" And he's like, "Oh, no." He's like, "I'm out." He's like, Principal fucking Mackey was like, "Hey, as long as someone's here to watch the kid, I can do whatever I want. But, you know, here's like a list of like chores that you got to do. You got to like tend to the furnace." And she's like, "Tend to the furnace? How do you do that?" And he's like, "You just hit the button." And she's like, "Okay."
It's a push button, but the buttons aren't labeled.
Yeah, she goes down into like the basement and there's 3 buttons. It's like, it looks like a stoplight. It's green, yellow, and red. And she just like hits like the yellow one. I'm like, why would she fucking hit the green one?
I was half expecting her to start complaining that it was too cold.
Yeah, I was like kind of like thinking that like, I was either thinking 2 things. The place would burn down or like she'd shut off the heat for the weekend and the place, like they all like freeze to death. And they have to like, I don't know, burn the Christmas tree for heat.
If only they had to do that.
That didn't happen. We're like 1 day into this, and they kind of like did everything they ever could have done. Like they sung a few Christmas carols. They told a story. They thought it was going to snow, but it really just like thundered and lightened and rained outside.
It's basically like in White Christmas when it's too hot to snow. So they're just going to get a thunderstorm.
Anne Marie's like, "Well, do you think we can make a Rain Man?"
Oh, poor Anne-Marie.
Like it's now like, I guess it's Christmas morning or like Christmas Eve. I don't know. It's like
It's close to Christmas. It's like I think it's like the day before Christmas Eve.
and all of a sudden like this like other little boy shows up. Roger, I think was his name.
Yeah, something like that. Just like he's like another kid in the class, but he like lives in town.
He lives like a mile away or something. Like he just like shows up and he's like, "Oh, I heard."
Close enough to walk.
Yeah, he's like, "I heard you were in town, so I just wanted to see how you're doing."
Came to play.
They play bounce on things, which is, I guess they just
It's like this bouncy follow the leader type game, and Anne cannot keep up.
she's out of breath.
I was like watching and I was like, oh my god. It reminded me of like trying to play Among Us with my nephews on Thanksgiving.
That little like that murder mystery game for the phone.
Yeah, except they played it like live action.
Oh shit, how does that work?
It was really weird. It was so weird. Like they made little cards like with a green check mark, you were a crewmate. If you had the red X, you were the imposter. My oldest nephew was like explaining the game to me and it was like really morbid and I was kind of disturbed.
Have you actually seen the video game?
No, I've seen like clips and I've seen like memes and stuff, but like I've never played it. But I was like, I get the gist.
It's not as morbid as you think, though.
But the way my nephew described it was just like he got a little too happy about certain parts and I was like, I'm a little nervous now.
Do you think it was like Squid Game or something?
Oh god, I don't even know what that is. I haven't watched that.
I haven't either, but I know the gist of it. Yeah, so this like kid shows up and they're playing bounce on things, follow the leader, / Among Us, whatever. And he's like, "Well, it's 4:00. I gotta go home." And Philip's like newly depressed. Like, "Oh shit, like, you know what?"
Yeah, he's like trying to like figure out how to kidnap this kid and keep him there.
So Roger just like takes off, like in the middle of the game, like they're having a ball, having a blast. He fucking bounces. And Anne Marie's like, "You know what? I have an idea." So she calls up Roger's mom. She's like, hey, it's the teacher that's like staying in the school for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
Or maybe even longer. I don't know. They didn't really establish how long it was.
Yeah, they really didn't, and I'm a little concerned about how long she's gonna have to stick around. And I hope she gets paid, because she volunteered, and she had already quit.
I hope she got paid too. She probably didn't though.
I mean, hey, at the very least, she gets a nice, like, gift from the mom every year.
And like a really good recommendation letter.
Oh, yeah. That's probably how she gets all those jobs.
Probably. All those colorful jobs that she gets. So she calls up Roger's mom and she's like, hey, this is kind of weird, but, I'm the school teacher, the drama teacher.
The one your son gave the dead bugs to. So, like, in a way, you kind of owe me.
Oh, yeah, the kid. I forgot about. We kind of, like, skipped over that.
We forgot about that part. Like, he gave her a present and it was, like, his dead bug collection.
And this was like at the very beginning of the episode too, because we did meet Roger earlier. So she's like, I know this is like kind of weird, but do you think like Philip can come over for Christmas dinner or just like the day? Like he's super bummed out. Like his mom's like on the set of the new fucking Baby Jane 2.
Sister Sally.
Yes. Whatever happened to Sister Sally? She's going to be unavailable for the next 2 weeks. So do you think you can watch this poor child? And she says, she agrees. She's like, yeah, send him over. So she sends the boy over. And now, like, I felt kind of bad because, like, now, like, Anne-Marie's, like, by herself in this, like, giant stuffy mansion.
Yeah, she's now stuck there by herself.
With no food.
With only jelly sandwiches.
So, like, whatever. She makes the best of it, I guess. Maybe she, like, caught up on stuff. Maybe she had, like, I don't know, like, papers to correct. Who knows?
Like, maybe she just sat down and read a book that she couldn't read with the kid around.
Yeah. Peyton Place.
Or something.
I guess it's the next day. So I guess it's like maybe the day after Christmas. So it probably was Christmas.
Yeah, like the day after Christmas, they bring him back. He got like a toy truck. He is so excited. He's like, it's like the best Christmas this kid has ever had. Yada yada. And then he reveals the family's Jewish.
Yeah, they celebrate Hanukkah. Which is just like...
But they totally like did a Christmas for him. And it was like so sweet.
It was pretty sweet. Like we kind of like... That's kind of like the end of the flashback part of the episode. And we kind of like cut back to like we're back in the department store. Donald now feels like a piece of shit. He's like, oh, like, sorry that I accused you.
As he should.
Sorry I accused you of being a harlot.
Yeah, right? Like, he was thinking, like, Anne was, like, on some ski trip with some young, like, fraternity boy or something. No.
Some frat boy, yeah.
Yeah, she was just, like, chilling with a kid because his parents are too busy to spend Christmas with him.
This mom comes back every year to give her a gift.
It was, like, a really nice black and white sweater dress thing.
Yeah, probably expensive. It's probably like a fucking black label item, like very super expensive.
Yeah.
Something from Bloomingdale's.
You know, it's a very nice item. It's basic enough to get something for somebody you don't really know, but nice enough for somebody who you actually really owe.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I bet you this movie came out, Sister Sally came out, and it was probably like a box office dud. Like it just fucking sunk. Pretty much like ruined this woman's career. Now she's like, I don't know, now she has to do TV work.
She probably actually gets to see her kid now, though.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe she's like moved on. She's like, she moved on from the movie serials and now she's like on a soap opera.
I was kind of thinking that same thing too, but I was also thinking that Anne-Marie would be like ripe for a soap opera though.
For real.
Alright, so she's in New York in 1963, well, post 1960, like 1960s New York, to be an actress. What are they doing other than like Broadway, like soap operas? Like that's all.
Like there's a lot actually like filmed in New York back then, though. I think still.
At some point, they end up shifting over to Hollywood, though. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up.
I think there's still a lot of like variety shows in New York.
Get like Smothers Brothers or something.
I feel like that one was definitely filmed in California. But I feel like you still have Ed Sullivan, like those Sunday night shows. You still have you do have the soap operas.
All right, so we have from 65 to 70, the Merv Griffin Show, which is straight up talk show.
Yeah.
A show called NYPD that was filmed in New York City. We also have Adam 12, but that was like a little later though. That's more like 70s, I think, right?
I feel like probably after the series ended, Anne probably got a role on something like
Edge of Night.
As the World Turns, or Edge of Night, something like that, you know? She got her soap opera role, and then she was on that show until that show went off the air. Probably did some TV movies in the 80s.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at this list. There's actually most of the shows filmed in New York City were like the 50s. There's a few that were filmed in New York City, but they ended really early. Like Car 54, Where Are You? Ended in 63. The soaps obviously like continued, but there's not that many. And then it kind of like upticks again in like the 90s and the 2000s. Like now we kind of go back to like live in New York City shoots and stuff like that. So
no, I think she totally got like a soap opera role. Like she probably got on a soap opera right as it was starting. She's probably like the young heroine. She was like your Victoria Lord or your Erica Kane type character. And she was probably there until the show got canceled. She probably did TV movies and guest appearances and stuff.
Another World launched in 1964. Maybe she didn't catch it on like right in the beginning, but maybe
like she was definitely like, I could see her being somebody who like came into a soap and was there until it got canceled. Like she's like, I got my job, I will do other jobs throughout, but I am not stupid, I am not leaving this gig.
She stuck with it all those years, all those hot years to the very end.
She probably had like a huge fan base.
Yeah, it was probably on to like 1984 probably.
No, like she was probably still working until like a decade ago.
Oh, you think she's like the Alice of the show?
Like I think she was like an Erica Kane or a Marlena, like somebody like that popular.
Just stuck it out.
And that age, because like she would have been that like right age.
Yeah.
For that kind of character. So if she started in like the late 60s, early 70s or whatever, like. Okay, she started, like, say she got a role in 1972, okay? Soap opera just started. Maybe it's been on for a few years, and she's just, like, the girl who just comes to town or whatever. She sticks with the show. In the 80s, you know, she's on the cover of all the magazines. You know, they talk about how she's married to this guy, Donald, but we don't really know much about him.
I feel like Donald went away.
Yeah, I would like to believe he went away and she married, like, one of her co-stars.
I did read something, though. I don't remember where I read it, though. In the early 90s, they considered doing a TV movie, and they were going to have Donald be in it, but she runs into him after all these years, and this is the first time they've run into each other. So they never ended up getting married. So I like to think that, like, he went away. She kind of just fucking went and did her own thing for a while. She had her flings.
You know what? I could 100% see Anne starting to get success as an actress and Donald not being okay with that.
Oh yeah. Like when Don Draper was mad at Megan Draper because she was like hot on the like it was like Dark Shadows or something.
Search for Tomorrow or something, I think.
Yeah, whatever it was. I don't remember what it was. But, like
whatever.
There was like a scene where like Megan Draper like kissed her co-star and he gets all pissed off. He's like,
see, like that's 100% Donald. 100% Donald. He's probably drinking as much as Don Draper at lunch anyways.
And his name is Donald.
Oh my. But yeah, I could totally see that like she started getting success. Like she's probably been on the soap for like a year or so. And he's like, so hey, when are we gonna get married? And she's like, I just want to focus on I'm in a really good place career-wise. I'm not ready to get married.
Things are cooking.
I got so much going on. And he's like, okay, I'm out. And she's like, okay, bye.
Enjoy your National Geographic.
And then like 6 months later, she like meets the love of her life. Some really sexy 70s guy.
It's a co-star on the show that she's on. You know, I could see her like in like 1983. She steps down to like a recurring role because she lands like a primetime gig. That's like a show that's on for like 2 years, but it doesn't do as big as she thought it would.
She goes and does like a Dynasty type thing for a couple years.
Yeah, like they kind of like gave her own, like Aaron Spelling gave her own thing for a little bit, but it wasn't like it was kind of like a Colby's type hit. It wasn't on for too long. And then she ends up going back to her show after it doesn't pan out.
Like but she would still pop into the show once in a while.
Oh yeah, for like the Christmas episode and stuff.
Yeah, and then she's back there, and she might just leave to go do a TV movie for like a month or something.
Oh yeah, she like steps out for a little bit, like she's in a coma on the show.
I don't think. say, I don't think she would actually, like, leave the soap. Like, I think she might go and do other jobs, but she would come right back. Like, she'd be gone for, like, a month, maybe a week here to do, like, this, play the wacky aunt on a sitcom or something.
But they read it into the storyline, though, where she's, like, in a coma, or she's kidnapped, she's in a birdcage for, like, 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, she filmed, like, 3 months worth of, like, trapped in a birdcage scene.
Yes.
Like, in 1 week, and they just, like, used it for, like, weeks. You just, like, on a Friday, you just see her, like, banging on the cage, like, help me, save me, Timothy, save me.
Oh, Timothy, when will you come save me?
That's the name of her love interest on the show, Timothy Chesterfield.
Timothy and Darla. I feel like her character would be named Darla. They'd be a hot super couple.
The Chesterfields.
That's totally the future Anne-Marie had.
Sarah Michelle Gellar plays their daughter.
No. Jennifer Aniston.
I was going to say, for some reason, Carrie Fisher. Like a pre-Star Wars Carrie Fisher.
No, that'd be... the age wouldn't work.
Yeah, you're probably right.
No, but Jennifer Aniston would have been the perfect age.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because she, like, you know what? She didn't want to be seen as nepotism going on Days of Our Lives, so she went on this show instead.
I mean, to be fair, One Life to Live was like one of Jennifer Aniston's favorite shows.
Good to know. That when we do AVSP trivia night, that's gonna be a question. All right. Did we leave anything out from the episode? We hit all the beats.
I don't think we really did.
All right. Good times. All right. I'm gonna ask the usual question. On a scale of 1 out of 5 wet blankets, how many wet blankets would you rate Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid episode of That Girl?
You know, I'm going to give it a 3.
I might go a little higher.
It's not the most Christmassy episode. For its time period, it's actually not bad, like compared to other stuff we've had from that time period. But it's also not like so super cheesy and schmaltzy like the stuff we get now.
Yeah, I'm gonna, for all those reasons that you just said, I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Like, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. There's definitely, like, a lot of, I guess, things that could only happen, like, 50 years ago going on this episode. Like, the idea of, like, taking, like, one of your child students, like, to your home, like, even thinking about it.
Or, like, leaving the kid at the boarding school. I don't think you could do that today.
Yeah, like the school's shutting down, but, like, the kid's gonna stay there with, like, the creepy Freddy Krueger, like, janitor.
And only eat jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, like, they don't, like, I guess, like, the kitchen, they just took everything out of the kitchen, too.
That part bothered me. There was, like, nothing else in this kitchen.
They couldn't, like, order out from somewhere. Like, maybe they can contact the local, like, Italian restaurant and have them send in, like, a box of pasta, at least.
There were just things that didn't sit right.
And then also, it's like a little kid. He probably, like, is a picky eater, too. And he probably, like, they probably had, like, pudding. He's like, no, I don't like tapioca.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, we have, like frozen pizza. And they're like, no, I don't know if they had frozen pizza in the 60s, but we'll say they did. No, I don't like frozen pizza. I just like bread and grapes. So they're like, all right, well, I guess jelly sandwiches.
It wasn't like they had a variety of jelly either. It was just one.
Well, I bet you at first he was, like, super into the jelly sandwiches. Like, maybe that's, like, his favorite dish. But then he was like, fuck, this is like...
after you have, like, 67 of them.
Yeah. And, like, there's no snacks, I guess. There's no, like, cookies or something. Or they didn't...
There's no potato chips. There's no it's just the same.
They didn't make a pie.
Everything.
I don't know. It was an enjoyable episode. Like, I definitely watched, like, other episodes.
It wasn't like something that I sat here watching going, what is wrong with me? Why am I watching this? It was enjoyable. I very well could have dived into more That Girl episodes, but I decided to drop right into Mary Tyler Moore.
It used to be on Amazon Prime, but it's not on there anymore. Like, they dropped it off must have recently. Because I remember, like, it would always...
It's on YouTube, like, and it's free.
Is it?
And legal. It's like the Film Rise company.
Oh, like you can watch them all? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I watched, like,
It wasn't like some random person uploaded them and they just haven't gotten busted. Like some other stuff we've watched.
Yeah, because the quality was actually, like, pretty decent for like a YouTube upload. Like normally, like, if you get, like, those ones that people upload, it's like a transfer from, like, 4 VHSs finally to, like, DVD and then to, like, a digital format, and you lose, like, 90% of the quality. But no, it's actually pretty decent. So I don't know, maybe I'll slide in and check out more. So I'm excited about next week because we're still going to be in the HJ Jamboree. So who knows? Did we decide on what we're doing yet? I can't remember.
Oh, we did.
We did. What are we doing? What classic?
We're doing Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, are we?
Yes, you dork.
Oh.
We're doing the Mary Tyler Moore episode, Christmas of the Hard Luck Kid 2.
Oh, we are?
Yes.
Oh, well, looks like I got a project tonight then.
Okay, I know. Okay, so like we were trying to make the list, and Twitter like decided Patrick couldn't reply, and I just kept sending him screenshots of like stuff from a list, and he's like, "We could do this and that."
And for some reason, you weren't getting my replies, but I was seeing your list.
Yeah, I wasn't getting your replies. Like never, still haven't. There's like one where you're like, "Can you see this?" And I saw it like after we had already talked on Instagram.
Well, I'm excited for Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid 2, also written by James L. Brooks. So, is there a 3? Is there a third part that we don't know about?
There isn't a third.
Like Rhoda didn't do a third?
Would it have been a Cheers?
Or like Phyllis?
There's definitely not a Cheers called that.
I'm going to look it up real quick just to see.
Okay.
It ended with Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid 2. Unfortunately, it wasn't a trilogy. James L. Brooks? Why do I keep saying Brooke? If you're out there, work on the third. I don't know, maybe you can do like a episode is he doing anything right now?
I don't know. I'm trying to think like what sitcom he would be working on right now.
I was going to say The Simpsons, but he's kind of like, he's been off that for a while though, right?
Yeah, you thought I was trolling you that night.
The last television work that he's done movies and stuff, but the last television thing was a part of was a Joan Cusack sitcom from 2001 called What About Joan?
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that is surprising.
It starred Joan Cusack and Kyle Chandler. 2-season series. 21 episodes aired for over 2 seasons, so good to know.
I think I have a vague memory of this. Probably around the same time Bonnie Hunt had a sitcom.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like she had a few. All right, hold on. The show was canceled after its 2nd episode in its 2nd season.
Oh. That's like what happened to The Millers. That Will Arnett show.
Well, maybe we'll do James L. Brooks July, and we'll cover it. All right. You got anything else? Anything else to add on that girl?
Marlo Thomas is Danny Thomas's daughter, and she played Rachel's mom on Friends.
Good to know. Good to know. Fun times.
That's like all I got.
All right.
Oh, she's married to Phil Donahue.
Do they have any children?
I think all of his children are with the first wife. Yeah.
All right, so in 1977, Shirley MacLaine was a guest on the Phil Donahue Show and found him to be highly enlightened and told Donahue during the show that she had the perfect girl in mind for him.
Ooh.
Marlo Thomas was that girl. Later that same year, Thomas was a guest on Donahue, the television talk show, when she and host Phil Donahue fell in love at first sight. They were married on May 21st, 1980. Thomas is stepmother to Donahue's 5 children from his first marriage. Concerning her relationship with her stepchildren, Thomas told AARP in May 2012, "From the first day, I decided that I was not going to try to be a mother to Phil's children in the traditional sense. They already had a mom. But instead, I want to be their friend. I'm proud to say that the friendship I established with them is as strong as they are today than they were 30 years ago."
I mean, that's kind of the best way to do it.
Yes. So shout out to Marlo Thomas, whose last film credit is Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later from 2017. Oh, no. She was in Ocean's 8 in 2018.
Ocean's 8.
Yes.
Okay.
So good for her. Good for her. She also is in 2 episodes of Ally McBeal, oodles of episodes of Friends, 3 episodes of Frasier. She played the voice of Sophie, who I guess probably called up Frasier.
Probably.
She did The New Normal, Ugly Betty, the ABC Saturday Superstar movie.
I don't know what that is.
Which was a That Girl themed TV movie called That Girl in Wonderland. It was an animated Alice in Wonderland movie, but involved That Girl characters.
That is a lot to unpack.
Oh yeah, and you can find the whole thing on YouTube if you feel like watching it.
I think I'm going to skip that.
Anne Marie imagining herself in the stories Alice in Wonderland, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, The Wizard of Oz, and Cinderella. And Donald's in it as well. He came back. He's a wet noodle in animation form.
Okay, there goes that. Just what we need. Drippy Donald in animation.
And it's a Rankin Bass production.
There's a lot going on there.
Anything else said? Did I blow your mind there?
No, I think you've kind of like really done a number on my brain with this last bit of information. Yeah, like you might have just turned my hair from purple to white.
Just in time for Christmas.
You shocked me so hard.
We're gonna have a white hair at Christmas.
Oh wait, no, it's still purple. Never mind.
Alright, where can you follow our Wild Ass Adventures? Cat said the author. Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. You can follow us wherever you have found this podcast because we're on like everything. YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Podcast Addict, Amazon Podcasts. Pretty much anywhere you find your podcast, you can find us, so subscribe, rate, review us, leave us your essay-worthy answers, comments on YouTube.
Send us episode ideas. If you have a hot idea for us to do, we'll consider it. We'll add it to the list.
Oh god. One day I'm going to have to go through all of our episodes and actually make a list.
It's going to be a big-ass list, huh?
Yeah, because you're like, add it to the list, Cat, add it to the list. And I'm like, what list?
It's there somewhere. It's out there somewhere.
It's like this mythical list.
Oh no. And as always, girl,
Bye!
watch The Basement for Anne-Marie hitting buttons on the furnace.